Hey, beautiful soul. Sonia B here with DR Holistic Killer. I am back with several different prophetic messages. So bear with me to the very end if you guys want to hear what type of activations that some of you are having at this time, okay? So yes, we are having some sort of activations, okay? Anyway, so the first message that I received, this is about, it came through music, okay? So for those of you who do not know, it's almost like the universe kind of speaks to me through music, okay? So I say all that to say the song that was coming to me was, I forgot the name of the group, but it's the song Maybe We Can Try Again. It was a song back from, I think, the late 80s, early 90s or whatever. Maybe we can try again. Try. Okay, never mind my singing on any mind, okay? So anyway, but the message that came through with that, it was about being more close to a person, okay? So for some of you, it's almost like your heart space is wanting you to learn how to be more intimate, not just thinking that, okay, for the rest of your life that you think that you're supposed to be single, or you think that, you know, you can't let love in for whatever reasons, okay? So for some of you, it's a situation of getting closer to someone. For some of you, it's a situation of having more talks, having more walks, having more candlelight dinners, and having a whole lot more of romance, okay? So I say all that to say that's his message for some, and for some of you, all of those messages may apply, okay? So the next message that I received was, has something to do about adult children, okay? So for some of you guys, you may have like adult children in a sense. So what the Most High wants you to be aware of at this time is we're going through a shift, okay? So as your parents shift, you also kind of shift as well too, okay? It's what I see, it's happening. So as you make a shift, your adult children also making shift, even your younger children, okay? But this message right here is about adult children, okay? And this was about, it's almost like somebody had been kind of like, let's just say if maybe you were going throughout your life, you was just kind of living your life, and you was kind of allowing your adult children to live their life in a sense of making the choices, the decisions that they felt like was best for them. And maybe some of them are coming to a realization that they realizing what was working for them is no longer working for them, is what I'm hearing. Thank you, Spirit. Is no longer working for them in a sense. So it's almost like their mindsets are being changed. And for some, I'm hearing it's a situation of them having like a quickening, okay? Something, a spiritual activation that's happening quick, okay? That's pushing you, quantum leaping you to the next phase of your life. So for some of you, it's a situation that you've been in relationships for way past the expiration date, whether it's friends, you know, co-workers, you know, whether it's romantic partnerships, and whether it's a situation of, you know, let's just say maybe you guys may have been in a relationship, but you wasn't necessarily nurturing your relationship, but maybe you may have been nurturing more so of your relationships at work with those type of people, which is interesting enough because a conversation kind of came up the other day talking about work husbands and work wives in a sense. I think some people get that information misconstrued, and they think that just because they hear that information, you know, you have to understand that society kind of set us up for those different mindsets. And when we hear something, it's up to you whether you choose to allow seed to be planted in your ear or not, okay? It's about having morals, integrity, principles, and value. And what is your value system? Just because you hear somebody saying something about like, this is my work husband, or this is my, you know, my work wife in a sense, okay? No, you have one wife, and that is your wife that is at home. You have one husband that is your husband at home, not at work, okay? Yes, you do have to you know, exist with each other when you're at work, but that does not mean that that is your work husband or your work wife, okay? So some of you guys, you may want to start removing that information out of your mouth, because remember, whatever it is that you speak and whatever it is that you know, focus your time, your attention, and energy on, if that's something that you really take to heart and you really, you know, believe in your mindset, oh, well, this is my work husband, oh, this is my wife husband, in a sense. Sometimes some of you guys may find yourself in a situation where lines get crossed, because it's almost like you're not being, what I'm hearing, thank you, Spirit, what I'm hearing is almost like lines get crossed with other people, and you tend to forget, because you're forgetting more so, you're focusing more so on what's going on at work rather than what's going on at home. So maybe you may feel like, for some of you, I don't even know where this conversation is going. Just allow Spirit to lead me, though. Thank you, Spirit. So I say all that to say that some of you guys have had situations to where, you know, you have had let's just say that you've been, how can I say it? Some of you guys have had possibly relationships with people at work in a sense where you know that either some of you guys are still in a marriage, or some of you guys are in a relationship in a sense, and it's almost like that you allow the lines to blur is what I'm hearing. So for some of you, it's a situation of you coexisting kind of like in two different realities in a sense. And yes, that can happen in a sense. Okay, sometimes a person can be spiritually inclined to the point that they're able to, you know, whether you want to say teleport, whether you want to say quantum leap, or whether you want to say, you know, astral project, or whatever the case may be, to a different timeline, even while coexisting right here in this timeline. Meaning like I'm sitting right here right now, but I can be sitting here in this reality while also receiving information from another reality or a different timeline in a sense. So that's something to keep in mind as well too. And you want to be mindful of which timelines that you know, if you're someone who is spiritually inclined, be mindful of the type of timelines that you kind of find yourself dipping and dabbing to, because some timelines, it could be older timelines of lower frequency and lower vibration, which will then bring situations into your life that you don't necessarily want to happen in a sense, is what I'm hearing. Okay. So it's important to make sure that you stay present, okay? And what I'm hearing, thank you, Spirit, what I'm hearing is Capricorns. You know, you guys are stork in a sense. So therefore, you guys are more so about traditions, and you're about the old structures and, you know, things like that. But it's almost like the Most High is trying to get you out of that mindset, because yes, that has been your mindset. That's, you know, what your sign generally kind of rules. But the Most High is asking you to kind of keep more so of an open mindset, because basically what has happened is, you have been so stoic to the point that you're rooted into the history, and you're not able to stay present in a sense. So when you're rooted into the past, it makes it hard for you, a person, to stay current in a present in a situation at hand. Okay. So anyway, let's move on. So again, as I said, some of your adult children are making some changes in a sense. And for some of you, it's a situation of maybe like before, your adult children may have been kind of distanced in a sense, because again, they was trying to figure out life and trying to live life for themselves and figure out. And what I'm hearing, thank you, Spirit, what I'm hearing is almost undoing to maybe like patterns and behaviors that maybe they have learned or picked up during their childhood. And for some of you, it could be a situation of even that they may have picked up from just what they saw their parents doing in a sense. Okay, so sometimes our children can have woundings based on their parents' woundings as well too. So this is something to definitely be in mind of, to be mindful of, excuse me. Okay, so anyway, so I saw that this, for some people, it's a situation of for this group that I'm talking to. So if this message finds you, obviously there's a message here that's for you. Okay, so I say this group of people who have young adult children in a sense. And when I say young adults, they could be somewhere between 24 and they could be somewhere between like 32 or whatever the case may be, 33. Okay, I'm talking about that age group. So I say all that to say that some of them is almost like having a different mindset, because it's like the Most High is asking them and requiring them to do something different, because again, some of them have been in relationships that have been way outdated. It has been outdated way past their expiration dates. Okay, so I say all that to say, because sometimes people take and cling to what they feel like is comfortable, it's familiar, and they don't want to necessarily step out of their comfort zone. So what I'm hearing is almost like the Most High is kind of quantum leaping and pushing some people into these different areas, so that way that they can get out of their comfort zones. Okay, so as I told you guys before, and what I just heard is hold on tight with all your might. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's a negative thing, because for some of you, you're going to realize, wow, I wish I would have let go way sooner than, you know, what I have done, rather than clinging to what I felt like was familiar, or what I felt like was comfortable, what I felt like I thought was love, whether it was be with family members, you know, co-workers, whether it be situation with, you know, romantic partners. So, excuse me, y'all. So I say all that to say, bear with me, okay? Notification came up on the phone. So anyway, let me move on. But basically, the universe is, okay, that's that end of that message. So basically, I said with your adult children, if they were distanced before, it's almost like they're going to kind of find themselves coming back to you. It's almost like a sense of what is home, okay? Knowing that where love really resides at, okay? Because they thought that entertaining these different relationships out here, they realized that it actually wasn't love. And for some of them that has not realized that just yet, it's almost like the Most High is going to reveal that information to them. Okay, so the next message I received, this is about the twin flame journey. So for some of you, you guys have been on this journey almost 7 years. Okay, and I say all that to say it's almost like you're doing a song and a dance together. So imagine two people dancing together, and maybe they don't know how to dance together. Okay, so maybe let's just say they're used to dancing, you know, separate or whatever the case may be. And as you dance separate, it's almost like when somebody else comes into your mix and you don't know how to dance with them because their moves are different from yours. You know, you got somebody doing this, you got somebody doing that, and like, you know, doing all this, and then you're like, wait, whoa. Okay, so the way I saw it was the Most High is trying to get you're doing like this dance right now, and it's almost like you're trying to get into the groove, you're trying to get into the move, because it's almost like he's trying to get you on one accord. If that's how I saw it. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. So again, imagine two people trying to dance, and maybe they may not have never danced with each other before. And if they did dance with each other before, let's just say for those people who are coming into like reconciliation in a sense, it's almost like the Most High has you doing this dance with your divine partner to the point that you're getting synced, is what I heard. Thank you, Spirit. To the point that you're getting synced on one accord, okay? So anyway, the next message came through was, this one was a song yet again, and forgive me because I forgot to get the name of the song, but this is the song. You guys can kind of look it up, and it'll kind of tell you. The song was like, this is the game of show and tell, the game of love, or something like that. Again, another old song. So you guys can just type that in Google, and I'm sure it'll pull it up. Okay. So this next message came through was, this is about maybe your young children, maybe who just graduated from high school, and somewhere between that bracket, or maybe somewhere between, what I'm hearing is probably maybe 15, maybe 15, as well as 15, as well as, I don't know why it like just went up. Okay, anyway, so maybe like 15 and somewhere between like 18 years of age, okay? The way I saw this was, some of your kids have been kind of like going through these various different changes, okay? And it's almost like they're trying to figure out stuff as well, too. It's almost like the universe kind of has them figuring out, okay, just kind of taking them through a spiritual training as well, too. Because the way I saw this was, imagine being in this big building, and then this big building has all these different office spaces, and it's almost like the Most High kind of had them visiting these different office spaces. So let's just say maybe the mom and the child may have went into the building together. Then all of a sudden the child and the mom get separated in a sense. And it's almost like, because of all the different things that's going on inside the building, it's almost like, I'm hearing it's common, almost like initiation lessons in a sense of things that maybe these young children had to learn in a sense for moving forward. But basically it has a lot to do with them trying to figure out their identity, trying to figure out their path of self-discovery and what truly makes them happy, okay? So those are things that some of your young children are trying to figure out right now. When I say young, I'm talking about, again, from the age around about 15 up until like about 18, okay? So please bear with those children, and please do not be parents that feel like, oh my God, like these kids just graduated from school, for those who are around about 17, 18, and be like, oh, you got to get out of my house, or you got to go do this, or you got to go do that. Do not do that, okay? We're getting out of that energy in a sense. And I say all that to say that the Most High is wanting you to see things from a different perspective, because again, it's like you didn't have that opportunity to have that that leisure in a sense of being able to figure out what it is that where you truly wanted to go. Because what I'm hearing is like these kids that I'm referring to, some of these kids are star seeds, indigo kids, and you know, they're blue flame children in a sense, okay? And I say all that to say that, you know, these kids come in with higher frequency, higher vibration, so they're here to help raise the planet. So therefore, do not try to rush the process of what it is that you feel like they should be doing, or you feel like they should be doing this, they should be doing that, and they should be out here doing this and doing that. No, do not do that, okay? Because I say all that to say, going forward, they are going to be like what I'm hearing is the future. They are the future in a sense, and they're going to help to raise, again, do things throughout this planet what the Most High wants them to do, not what your parents want you to do, but what the Most High wants you to do in a sense, okay? So it's about the kids and what the Most High is leading and guiding them to do, okay? So for some of you, you have been kind of having your hand on the reins, or trying to control in a sense of having your children to move in the way that you want them to move. And when I'm just hearing, thank you, Spirit, when I'm hearing also too, some of you have been misusing power in a sense, okay? And this is why some of the energy needs to collapse, because there have been people who were quote unquote in, you know, climb the corporate ladder and put themselves in a position of, let's just say, feeling, you know, supervisor at the job or whatever the case may be. So now it's just to the point that some people have kind of built themselves up to the point that they kind of put themselves on this pedestal to the point it is almost like the Most High is like, I'm gonna need you to bring that back down to reality, okay? Because that's not what we're doing here, okay? Whereas before, so many people in the age of Pisces was really trying to climb the corporate ladder, corporate ladder, climb the corporate ladder and, you know, and presume positions and titles, okay? So God is almost like doing away with that in a sense, okay? Anyway, so this next message came through is some of you guys may be divinely guided to go to a specific location. And basically, it's almost like the Most High is having you as a vessel, because that's what you are. You're channeling energy from the Most High in a sense. And it's almost like he may have you to visit certain locations in a sense. And as you visit these certain locations, something is transpiring underneath the surface that maybe sometimes we don't always know what's taking place, okay? But the way I saw it was, it's like a cleaning, some sort of purification in certain areas, okay, for certain groups of people, okay? Okay, so the way I saw this was, some of you guys may have had a situation to where, let's just say maybe somebody was pushing negative energy into your home in a sense, okay? And I say all that to say that for whatever their reasons for doing it in a sense, okay? But I'm hearing for some trying to be spiritually nosy. For some people, it's a sense of, again, they're not staying present. They're too busy trying to figure out what somebody else got going on. They're too busy trying to worry about what they doing over there rather than, you know, pointing the finger back at self. What am I supposed to be doing rather than what are they doing in a sense, okay? And some people have been doing that because, again, they're trying to be spiritually nosy. But you don't understand that when you're being spiritually nosy, you're gonna find yourself in a situation that you don't necessarily want, okay? Again, because this is not about doing what you see other people doing. Everybody has their own path, and the Most High, if he wanted all of us to be doing the same exact thing, we would have been, but that would make none of us unique or different in any sort of way. But this is the reason why it's important for you to focus on yourself and stop worrying about what other people are doing. So the next message came through was this is something about, it was like hair in a ponytail. So something about putting your hair up, and braids usually means like you're taming something in your life. You're trying to control something. So for some of you, just be mindful of that, okay? Okay, so this next message came through that so for some of you, your children are, teenage children are communicating with you spiritually in a sense. It's almost like, and even if they're not doing it, it's almost like the Most High is letting you know kind of what they're doing. Because for some of you, some of them have kind of closed themselves off from just to even, whether it be communicating, whether kind of opening up a little bit. So this is the Most High basically trying to let you know what's kind of transpiring with them, even though they're not opening their mouth up to use their words. But as a parent, the Most High is letting you know, because your prayers, and I just heard your affirmations or whatever it is that you're asking God for, that you're trying to understand that maybe that your children aren't necessarily telling you in a sense because they're trying to keep close in a sense. And for some of you, it's a situation of, you know, it could be their family, their moms or their dads in certain situations trying to control the situation, okay? And what I just heard was a word like puppeteer, okay? So be mindful of that, because again, put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Would you want somebody else doing that to you, okay? If you are trying to puppeteer your kids. Okay, so this other message came through was someone was in a situation to where something happened. I can't really say exactly what happened, but somebody's in a situation to where, and what's kind of coming to mind is, you know, I guess Sean Combs or whatever, like the situation with the girl, I guess he was moving her around to these different places and locations, and it's something similar to that, okay? But I feel like it has something to do with so-called authority figures involved. There are other people that's involved, but the way I saw it was, it's almost like somebody is kind of sitting somewhere and they're asking for help, like they're moving their mouth to ask somebody to help them in a sense. So the person kind of goes in, do the job or do whatever it is that they're doing, whether they did to kind of fix a problem, electrical problem or whatever the case may be. But this person sees this individual, make eye contact with them, and basically let them know, help me, in a sense, okay? And the person sees them, they extend their hand to them, and they're, you know, basically trying to walk them out of whatever situation that they may be in a sense. So that could be a situation for some people. And the way I saw it was, it's almost like for some of you, it could be a situation of, if you do The way I saw it is, for some of you, it could be a situation of, if you find yourself helping somebody, it could be a situation of that now, maybe, let's just say, people may start projecting negativity at you in a sense, okay? That's just kind of what I saw it. Because it was almost like after they had left out of the building, it's almost like these people showed up like they were undercover teams. It's like they didn't want this person to leave. This person obviously has a very high value in a sense, for the reason why they felt fearful to even kind of move, because they felt like there were more people against them rather than having people for them and on their side to even understand even what they're going through, okay? So the way I saw it was, once they left the building, somebody else kind of came aboard and was walking out with the man and the woman, another man, but then they went to go head towards the car. Then another vehicle pulled up to the point that it was like people in undercover. And it's almost like they was trying to sabotage that person from kind of leaving. And the next thing you know, it was like kind of hearing gunshots kind of going off. So the person, I felt like it was a female. So the female who was inside the building, who she was asking the gentleman for help to help her, she kind of laid there on the ground when she heard the fire, you know, the shots kind of going off. And it's almost like she kind of laid there because she knew if she stood up, she didn't know where these, you know, things were coming from or whatever the case may be. But it's almost like she kind of laid there out of fear in a sense, okay? So I say all that to say that, you know, just be mindful of your surroundings and be mindful of your loved ones in a sense, okay? Especially if they're going through a situation that may be necessary, you don't understand. But if you have the power and if you have authority and if you have the means to not necessarily control the situation, because, thank you, Spirit, what I'm hearing is that some of you guys have, again, been misusing your power. So in situations like this person who is needing some help in a sense of needing to kind of escape these people in a sense, because the way I saw was they was trying to figure out who is who. Like, there are people around that try to come and act like they're helping, and they try to act like they're there to help, and they try to act like they are interested in what they're doing. Let's just say maybe they might have folded up a piece of paper, but they come, oh, let me see what you did in a sense. But they're just trying to figure out, like, are these people truly for me? So it's almost like they're taking their chances of just kind of, you know, asking for help, hoping that somebody is going to help lead them. And again, the way I see it is, again, is what I'm hearing. Again, some of you guys have had this power in your hand, but it's like you use it for your own personal gain to do what you want to do. Well, you know, thank you, Spirit. What I just heard too, it has a lot to do with inner woundings. Okay. So sometimes you may not show up for those people who may possibly need your help, because the way I just heard it was some of you have childhood woundings that has a lot to do with feminine energy. So therefore, if you, I just saw 222 as I said that. So therefore, in a situation of, if there's something transpiring, it's almost like you turn your head to a blind eye because you don't want to have no parts of it. And that has a lot, when people do that, that has a lot to do with somebody who has been traumatized by a female energy. So therefore, they take that energy out on other females, okay? Okay, so the next message that I received was, this is something about a bank, okay? So something to be mindful of. So there's some of you guys who's looking for a bank or a new banking system to bank with, or the Most High is kind of leading and guiding you somewhere. It's important to be mindful, because basically the way I saw this was somebody was kind of signing up for a bank, and it's almost like the person, the teller, the, you know, people who sit at the desk, not the counter, but the desk. It's almost like this person was kind of having conversation with the individual person, and they kind of stated like, yeah, hey, they was like just having small talk or whatever while they was pulling out an application, I guess, to sign up for an account. And they was like, yeah, the person who works at the bank, so they work at a bank, but they was talking about another bank that they actually love. And I'm like, well, why are you not working at that bank that you love, but you working at this bank, but you shared information with somebody else talking about another bank? Okay, so the way I say that to say, be mindful of those people who are doing things like that, okay? Because I say that to say, even they have their own inner woundings of why they doing what they doing. Because I heard somebody saying, oh my God, I love, you know, BANK America, okay? I'm gonna just say that because I don't want to give it no fuel, okay? So I say all that to say that's what the person was saying in the thingy, but the other person was like, well, why are you working here if you love that place in a sense, okay? It makes no sense. So be mindful. But we all know the history, and for those of you who don't know the history of things that particular bank has gotten in trouble for from the past, be mindful and do not let anybody sway you into an opposite direction because they feel like Okay, thank you, Spirit. Because what I just heard is they understand your value, they understand your energy, and maybe you don't necessarily understand your energy or your value, and therefore, if they're trying to get you to go into a direction, it's almost like a misleading is what I'm hearing. So they're working at one bank, but they're talking about this other bank. So misleading and misguiding people while being at another facility. Be mindful of that type of energy, okay? So the next message that came through, something about flies. You know, if you start to see flies that kind of come into your home, that's almost a symbolism of death, okay? And I say all that to say it could be a physical death. It could be a death and rebirth situation. It could be a situation of you have, excuse me, you have outlived your current location or wherever it is that you may be, even if it's a situation on a job, you know. If you just so happen that you kind of start seeing flies around, flies usually symbolizes death, okay? And I say all that to say because lately I've seen like a couple of crows, and I was like, interesting, because crows usually also represents death as well too. Because, you know, if you think about crows, they kind of, you see them, you know, eating on carcasses in the street and all that other stuff. Again, they're feeding off of death or whatever. So death energy is kind of like around at hand, and hence to say, which is coming up to my next message. Give me 1 second, okay? Because the word was eradicate. So for some of you, this was like, I heard the song DC Scorpio in the part, you know, he's a hustler, stone cold hustler. Okay, I'm not encouraging that. I'm just saying, for those of you who do not know. But the part of the song that stood out, it said, something's going to happen to your big old dream. So, okay, some of you may need to hear that, okay? So, yes. So anyway, and then this next message came through. For some of you guys, I feel like this is Gemini energy. So if you're a Gemini, this is something to be mindful of and be aware of. The way I saw this was some of you guys may have had issues in regards to childhood woundings. And maybe you may have kind of somewhat dealt with these, or thought you kind of dealt with these energy in regards to childhood woundings. And it could have a lot to do with maybe like somebody mishandled you as a child in a sense and violated your personal space. So the way I see it is like this energy is coming up again because it was meant to, you know, again, it was meant to heal this energy and deal with it for once and for all, okay? And okay, bear with me, y'all, because one book ended and I have to use the other one. So anyway, so this other dream that, so I'm sorry, let me back it up. So the dream in regards to being violated as a child, some of you guys could be dealing with childhood trauma issues that are coming up that's pertaining to, again, where an adult, a parental, a guardian of some kind maybe have violated your personal space, you know, in a sense. So therefore, a lot of people's trauma wounds are coming to the surface, okay? So sometimes we have stuff stored in our subconscious that we're not even aware that's there. Some people push stuff down, they suppress it, they compartmentalize it, and they don't want to deal with it. So for those people who don't actually remember dealing with maybe an issue because you suppress it so much to the point that it's almost like that energy is coming back up to the surface for people to deal with it, okay? So this next message came through. For some of you, it's a situation of dealing with 12th house energy. If you don't know what 12th house energy is in astrology, it has a lot to do with, let's just say, hospitals, jails, probably prisons, or whatever the case may be, you know, spirituality. But, you know, it's not all negative, but, you know, it just depends on your placement in your chart and whether you've learned the lessons that you needed to learn. So the way I saw this was, and be careful of this and be mindful of this as well, too, because I know I said to myself, I was like, oh, God. So I say all that to say be mindful, because I know these hospitals, sometimes they want to draw people's blood. So if you're someone who is of twin flame and a very high vibration, it's like these people want to draw your blood in some sort of way, because it's almost like, one, I'm hearing they kind of want to study you. Two, you don't know their intentions behind the things that they do, especially, you know, these scientists in a sense, you know. And three, what I'm kind of hearing is you never know that people may be doing things, you know, with the blood in a sense to try to alter, try to take, or try to replicate something, you know, and bring something else in fruition, you know, just messing with nature. Okay, I just heard trying to play God. Thank you, Spirit. So I say all that to say, because there was this woman who was in Baltimore, Maryland, and I don't remember her name, but you can look it up for yourself. She was a black woman, and apparently I think they used her, it was either her, was it her platelets or her stem cells or something like that they used that, and now all of her energy, now need I remind you, they abstracted this energy from her without her knowing, in a sense, and without her without her family's permission. So I say all that to say, be mindful of people, you know, especially when you have on the back of your driver's license that you want to be a donor and all that other stuff, and people ask you, be mindful of that stuff, okay? Because sometimes these people have these agendas, and you know, these scientists, they like to try to play God in a sense. So just be mindful of that, okay? So anyway, as I said, something about blood in a sense of somebody wanting to draw somebody's blood. Just be mindful, because this has a lot to do with, I said, 12th house energy. Look it up, astrology, where the different things in the 12th house that people find themselves experiencing or dealing with, okay? And be mindful of that as well too, okay? So the next message that I heard, and I heard this one this morning, it was Beyonce's song, and I don't hear her song too often, okay? But the way it came through, it said, the part in the song where it says, okay, let's get into formation. This is the Most High. He was trying to say it's time to get in line, okay? So for those of you who just been kind of willy-nilly and relaxing and reclining and, you know, just doing whatever and, you know, just waving your wand over here and waving it over there, doing this and doing that, in a sense, it's time, it's game time is what I'm hearing. It's time to get in formation, okay? So it also, the other part in the song that stuck out too, it says, I don't know this song, y'all, so bear with me. So I had to look up the lyrics this morning to understand what it was that God was trying to say, because he gave me key points, okay? And it says, prove to me you got some coordination, okay? So, okay, lady, okay, it's time. Okay, I think it's okay, ladies, it's time to get information. Whether you're lady or man, it doesn't matter. It says to prove to me you got some coordination, okay? So that's the Most High. He's putting some of you guys through a test right now. He's initiating some of you guys. He wants you to know that he wants to see what you're made of, because he wants to see whether you can get yourself out of your own situations, because you're powerful enough to do so, okay? If you're powerful enough to wave that wand out here to do this and do that, imagine if you took that same power, energy, effort, and time that you was just waving it over here all nilly-nilly, and you thought what you was doing was actually helping when it was really harming, in a sense. You know, sometimes some of you guys, what I'm hearing as well too, thank you, Spirit, some of you guys have been directing that wand at people who doesn't even deserve that wand, in a sense, okay? But I say all that to say that now he wants to see what you're made of, okay? You done had that wand for a minute, so now it's like, prove to me that you got some coordination, okay? And it says, or you get eliminated, okay? That's just what it stood out, okay? Because God is saying, in the other part of her song, it says, I see it, I want it, I dream it, I work hard, I grind till I own it, okay? So for some of you guys, again, sometimes talk is cheap. And God said we can talk all day long, but talk can be really cheap. The question is, what actions are you putting behind your words, okay? In order to make whatever it is happen that, you know, what I just heard too. For some of you guys, it's a situation of your career. You made your career happen. You got exactly where you wanted to go. Now you like just here at a plateau. So where else do you go? Do you continue to help build other people's wealth, or do you continue to make it a point of doing what it is that God asked you to do, so that way you can build your own wealth, in a sense, okay? So therefore, it's a situation of, are you going to put that time, attention, and that energy into, when you climb that corporate ladder out here amongst these entities or these institutions, are you willing to put that same time, energy, and effort into building what it is that God is asking you to build for yourself or your bloodline, okay? So this last message came through, and this is the word eradicate is what I heard. I heard this so loudly, okay? So I had to wake up and write it down before I forgot, okay? But basically, for some of you guys, it's the Most High trying to do this final push with you, and basically trying to get you to completely end something, a habit, a pattern, something that maybe you had kept being in a repetitive cycle with, and only you know what that is, okay? For what I'm hearing is some of you is a certain mindset. Your mindset has you allowed your mindset to kind of allow you to kind of be like in prison, not a physical prison, but a mental prison, in a sense, okay? So therefore, if it's almost like, again, it's going back to this Beyonce song, okay? Prove it to me. Prove to me that you got some coordination, okay? And it's time to get in formation. What you gonna do, okay? So anyway, but yes, it's almost like God is trying to get you to eradicate something, period, and to be done with, okay? For some of you, it was just like last minute, okay? So anyway, bear with me, guys, if you want to hear the message of what activations people are having at this time. Bear with me. Oops. Bear with me, y'all. I was just trying to protect my notes, so I already pre-shuffled these cards, so we're just going to ask the Most High what some of you guys need to know. Heavenly Father, only 3 different groups. Heavenly Father, message for 3 different groups. What do you want them to know? What's happening in their life right now, Heavenly Father? What's happening? What's happening in the first group's life, Heavenly Father? What's happening in the first group's life? What's happening in the first group's life? Healing. Healing's happened. Bear with me, y'all, because I can't really push these cards. All right, the second group. What's happening for the second group? What's happening for the second group? What's happening for the second group, Heavenly Father? What do you want the second group to know? Oh, so it's 2 cards for the second group. Love and sexual arts. Okay, so for some of you, God is trying to bring you love. And for others, it's healing. And then the last group, group 3. What is the message for group 3, Heavenly Father? Having faith. This one came out last week. Okay. So now I'm going to ask what activations. All right, Heavenly Father. What activations for those who are in group 1, who are healing? What activations are they having at this time? Bear with me, y'all, because these cards are so big. They're so big for my hand. My hand's small. So the activations for the healing card is for divine feminine, okay? And it says, the frequency of divine feminine supports our receptive, nurturing, and soft side. Allow it to express itself openly and help us to connect to our instricts understanding of our connections to all of our creations. Okay, so I say all this to say whether you are male or whether you are female, okay, this applies to you. This is about healing on your divine feminine side. Okay, so if you are a male, yes, you do have a feminine side as well too. Okay, and for some of you, it's needing to be healed. Okay, so for the second group, Heavenly Father, what is the message for the second group? For love and sexual arts, Heavenly Father. What is the message you want the second group to know? What activations is the second group having? Oh. Empowerment, okay? So I told you guys in the last message, I said for some of you that's on this twin flame journey, you're stronger together than you are apart, okay? Well, some of you may think quite the opposite of thinking that I'm stronger apart rather than together in a sense. And that's just something that you're telling yourself because love is the highest vibration. So I say all that to say when the two of you are together, you radiate this energy that goes outward that reaches the whole world. If you guys ever watch Once Upon a Time and you know like when Snow and Prince Charming kissed each other, it was like whoosh. It went throughout the whole land. Everybody felt the energy. That's kind of like what that is, okay? So, again, it's empowerment. That's the activation that some of you guys are having right now. It says the frequency of empowerment supports our ability to show up fully and completely, uniting us with others in the deep trust that we all are connected through the same source, okay? So, for some of you, it's a situation of the Most High is just trying to connect you guys to the people that you're supposed to be. I'm hearing soul tribe, okay? That's for some of you guys. And why is this third group here, Heavenly Father? What activations is the third group having? What activations is the third group having? What activations is the third group having for having faith? Oh. Prosperity. Okay, so it says the frequency of prosperity supports our feelings of well-being by allowing the inclusions of everything that makes our body, mind, heart, and soul and our spirit sing. It invites us to express ourselves in joy and celebrate of the abundance and riches that the universe provides. Okay, so for some of you, it's like you're getting more in tune to the universe in a sense. And as you pay attention to the signs and synchronicities that the universe give you, in a sense, it's almost like you're going to realize that prosperity and abundance can come in all different ways, shapes, and forms, okay? So some of you, I'm also hearing too that remember that abundance is not just money, okay? Abundance could be abundance of love, abundance of, let's just say, maybe in your geographic location that you're living in, it could be very rich and high in frequency, okay? So again, abundance can come in different ways and shapes of form. Abundance of love, abundance of, you know, good health, abundance of, you know, prosperity, abundance of, you know, friendships, in a sense, healthy friendships, okay? So this is no more, thank you, Spirit. Spirit wants to be clarified. This is no more of trying to have a bunch of people around us, like an entourage is what I'm hearing. This is about having like-minded people that's within our vicinity, because there's nothing more than being amongst people that you work with, or people that maybe you live around, and maybe people that you just kind of say hi or bye to, or just to even carry on a conversation with. You could be talking about something. They absolutely do not understand anything that you're saying, in a sense, and they kind of look at you like, but like attracts likes, in a sense, okay? So therefore, it's almost like the Most High is trying to push you guys to the direction, kind of like I said about that dance song, trying to get you in a groove of being around those people who have the same mindset as you, okay? So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end it there. But if you guys want to join me on TikTok, feel free to do so. I'm going to go ahead and end it there. I wish y'all much love, much light to the next message. Bye.